On this episode of the History of the Course podcast with Curtis and Josh, we discuss the self proclaimed blue collar metal band known as Once Nothing. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurvivedByPro for news and the latest episode postings. And make sure to subscribe to the show, leave us a 5-star review, and write us a comment on YouTube or whatever podcast service you're using. And also make sure to check us out on TikTok and give us a follow at Is Survived by Productions. Now, without further ado, let's start the show.
The devil is in Atlanta, army surrounded.
Welcome back to the History of the Course podcast, where each and every episode we are taking a look at the history of a band from the chorus genre. I'm Curtis.
And I'm Josh.
Josh, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Especially since I spent the better part of the day listening to our band we're going to talk about today.
Yes, same here, man. Same here. Are you going mobile there? You look like you're going mobile with the mic in hand.
I'm actually live on location out here, Curtis, and things are getting pretty crazy out here.
Describe the scene behind you there, Josh. Seems like there's something about a man and a backhoe arm.
Yep. This man does have backhoe attachments for arms. He appears to be made of fire. People are getting real riled up out here.
Do you think we could talk to any of those people that are riled up, maybe?
I don't want to get too close here, Curtis, just for my own safety.
Can you feel the flames? That's what I want to know. Can you feel the flames? Is the heat intense?
We are going to have to move out of this area pretty soon.
Well, it's very interesting that you can feel the flames, yet you're still wearing a long sleeve and a beanie. So,
oh yeah, feels great out here.
Oh boy, man!
Yeah, no, I just
man.
Switched my setup in here and now realize that I have nowhere for the mic stand to go. So
it's a work in progress, people. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about that band that's right behind you there, man. Today we are taking a look at the band known as Once Nothing. I'm going to take a guess, Josh, and say you've never seen them live.
No, I've seen Once Nothing.
You have?
Yeah, I've seen them a few times.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was
They came to town?
Yeah, they've been here a few times.
Really? No, I did not know that.
It was always like during the summer. They only tour like during the summer or whatever because they work.
Right. Yeah.
They just work like normal jobs.
Interesting. Okay. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about those shows, man?
Most of them were smaller shows. The first time I saw them, I think, was at a Dimebag Darrell tribute show.
Nice.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just like a normal show, but then everybody, like each band played like one Pantera song.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they played?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't remember what song they played. But it was around First Came the Law. So
okay. Nice.
yeah.
Which makes more sense because, and we'll talk about it a little bit, but by the time that they get to that, signing on with Solid State, they're going more national with their touring. As compared to before, they're just more kind of local stuff because of, like you said, the jobs that they had during the day and such.
Were they under Solid State for First Came the Law?
First Came the Law. That's the only album that, that's the only time that they were under Solid State was just for that.
I want to say that iTunes has like the album credits on there has it listed as, it's weird. It's let's see here.
Like not Solid State?
No, it's not Solid State on there.
Really?
Yeah, unless this was another name for Solid State or some subdivision of theirs. Capital Christian Music Group.
Mine says, let's see. Mine says 2008 Solid State Records, all rights reserved, blah, blah, blah. Manufactured by Tooth and Nail. Now, we talked about before that Solid State and Tooth and Nail are basically the same thing. But yeah, mine said Solid State.
Um,
Interesting.
I'll look into that.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's stop. Oh, so you said there was more than one, so you saw them, right?
Yeah, I
Anything really memorable though about it?
No, not really. I mean, I just remember really liking, really being into them, but especially like also at that time, think about a lot of the other bands, that we were listening to, um, Maylene. Um, I mean, I had gotten into Every Time I Die, by that point. So there's a lot of Southern influences, and
Right.
we'll talk about some of the other stuff that I really hear in there,
Okay.
once we get into some of the albums. But yeah, nothing crazy. They were just really good, and I remember thinking that was really weird. Like their whole hook, the blue collar metal,
Yeah.
that they all work like just like construction and
Right.
automotive, like stuff like that, jobs. And then during the summers, and I think I saw them maybe in winter one time, they tour. So they work all year so that they have enough money to like get by and pay for, these tours that they do.
Right. Yeah. So that was your introduction to Once Nothing, was seeing them in concert? You didn't know anything about them before that?
No, I don't think I ever, I don't think I knew anything about them before that.
No, okay. All righty. Cool, man. Cool, cool. Well, let's get on into it. Shall we? Once Nothing as genre can be described as metalcore, southern metal, and the self-proclaimed blue collar metal. Nice little hook, described by their own members there. I think that's pretty cool. Note that there are some Christian themes in some of these songs lyrically, but it has been stated that this is not a Christian band by any means whatsoever. All right. Formed in 2000 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Steel City, known as a blue collar city. I think that's basically where they kind of got their blue collar metal moniker. The first official lineup is going to be Todd Lowry on vocals, Ryan Carroll on guitar, Josh Brannis on guitar, David Burkus on bass, and Kevin Ho on drums. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And Josh, I don't know how much you know about this band's history and albums, or if you've done some digging on it or whatever, but they only have one full length album, and that's later
Yeah.
on here in the history, obviously. So it's more, and again, that kind of goes hand in hand with the, working the construction jobs and only getting to tour basically in summer and maybe some wintertime or spring or whatever. So they have more EPs obviously than full albums. And all of these EPs are self-released except for one of them. One of them they are actually on a record company with. And then obviously the full-length album, they were on a major record label. But their first the first three EPs are like, there's almost like no way to find the music for them anywhere. I was finally able to track some down on YouTube. I had to do a lot of digging though, and I wasn't even able to get all of the songs. So do you know anything about these first three EPs, Josh, or the early stuff? Have you heard any of the earlier stuff?
I have, okay, so
Like what's what's the furthest back that you know of album wise?
I mean, I've listened to all of them.
Okay, so you
But
have. Okay.
yeah, so Earth Movers, the first one,
Okay.
the Earth Mover EP. You said you had a hard time finding these?
No. No, well, here's the thing about it. There's no. Here's the thing about it. So Earth Mover came out in 2007.
Yeah.
So they have one, two, three, four. No, let's see here. One, two. They have one, two, three EPs before Earth Mover, and actually a compilation album before Earth Mover also.
What?
So the EP before Earth Mover is Voice of the Paragon, and you can actually find that on their Bandcamp website. The two EPs before that though, I was only able to find. Let's see, the first one.
So Voice of the Paragon was supposed to be before that?
Yes, yeah,
Oh, see, they've
it
got it
was
listed on.
re-released.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, it was re-released on Bandcamp, so that's why it's kind of out later.
God, I don't know if
Um,
honestly, I love this band, and I don't know if I want to hear the original version of that. Voice of the Paragon is not strong.
yeah, it's not the greatest. It's got some good stuff. I mean, there's definitely their early stuff is really raw and really. I mean, you can tell it's demos basically. But let's just get on into it since you don't know about it. So 2003 is going to see their first release EP. It's a self-release. It's called "And the Blood of the Wicked Shall Flow Like a River" EP. It's pretty sick title. Not gonna lie.
That is a good title.
Yes, it has 3 songs on it. I think you'll enjoy one of these songs, Josh. The songs include "Hand Grenades Solve All My Problems," "How to Build a Sandcastle." The full song, by the way.
No.
Yes, but I will say, disclaimer, it is not a good version, dude. In my personal opinion, I don't like it. And we'll talk about that song more when we get to um
Oh God, the
First Came
best.
the Law.
The best.
Yes. Yeah. The other song that is on this EP is Thanksgiving Day Bar Fight. You can actually find all 3 of these songs on YouTube. Um
Are they
I can
together?
send you, huh?
Are they together?
Yes, yeah, they are together. I can send you the link later on. I meant to do that earlier in the week, but I kept forgetting about it. But anyway,
you're,
yeah, those are
you're
those 3
always like,
songs.
you're always like, so what do you think of the first one? And I'm like, yeah, the first one, this one. And then every time you're like, oh, actually, there were like 30 EPs that never saw the light of day, that
Exactly.
were unreleased. And yeah.
I really thought like I was not going to be able, like when I started doing like the notes on this, I seriously was like thinking I'm not going to have anything for these first 2 EPs. So I'm thinking I can't find anything on this stuff. Nobody's got like, I mean, you would think by now somebody would have had that CD who lived in Pittsburgh and upload it to, YouTube. But I mean, it's like I said, I had to do some deep digging, not like, dark web digging or anything like that, but I was
Did a
close.
shady deal to get your hands on
Exactly.
copies of these original copies.
Exactly. No, but I just really thought I wasn't going to be able to have very much. I mean, we can go ahead and admit there's not a whole lot of meat to this sandwich anyway, because they're
It's a
just,
bread sandwich.
it's a bread sandwich. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, that's 2003's "And the Blood of the Wicked Shall Flow Like a River" EP, self-released. Again, I can send you that link, Josh, of
Please
those
do.
3 songs. That brings us to the next EP, which is in 2005, 2 years later. This one has a little more simpler title. It's called "A Reckoning" EP. This one is also self-released. This is actually going to be the last album for guitarist Ryan Carroll and the last album for drummer Kevin Ho. Now, I was only able to find 3 of the 6 songs that are on this EP on YouTube. Can't remember which ones they are though. But
I
anyway,
wonder if we reached out to them if they would like get back to us.
wouldn't surprise me. Maybe we should do that.
We
Can
should
we have
try.
some? Can we have some free merch?
Well, I don't know if I want free merch, but I would love some, like if they've got hard copies of these, I would love to get one.
In somebody's mom's basement or something like that. Yeah, let me go
Yeah.
back to my house
Or
real
if they
quick.
even
Yeah.
have like recordings, if they have a digital copy.
Well, and so that's like that was one of my questions too. It's like you put Voice of the Paragon on Bandcamp. Why did you not? I mean, why not? I mean, it was self-released. It's not like a record label owns these records. So I mean, they're yours. So why not put them up on, like something like Bandcamp or your official YouTube, page or whatever for everybody to enjoy, you know? Just kind of weird.
It is weird
But
when you can't find songs by a band. It's like, why did you guys
you're like,
bury this?
yeah, I was like, what are you trying to hide, man? So, but again, like I said, these two EPs are really raw, like hardcore demo. They're not great, but I mean, they give you, a glimpse of what could be. And we get to that eventually. But anyway, the songs on this EP, A Reckoning, include Spell It Out Girls, Back in 94 when I got shot in the face, Lock the Gates and Burn the City, The Last Charge of Wyatt Earp and His Immortals. Dude, check out that Trans Am / Get Out of My House Before I Call the Cops. And last but not least, put some stank on it, man. So yeah, so it's interesting song titles there. Of course, they have a
They
way
have,
with their song titles. It seems like
yeah, there's some good ones. They they've really got it nailed down with the album titles.
yes,
The
yeah.
first, what'd you say the first one was?
And the blood of the wicked shall flow like a river.
Yeah, that sounds like a black metal album.
Right.
Like that is sick as hell. And
What
then
am
the
I about to
second
get
one's
into?
called Reckoning.
A reckoning.
A Reckoning. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
brutal and southern as fuck.
yeah.
And then you got Earth Mover, Voice of the Paragon, that one falls off. Everything about that one is just wrong. And then First Came the Law, like that was another one that was really good.
Right.
Indiana Sessions, I mean that one doesn't really make sense. And,
It's pretty plain.
it's just yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is A Reckoning EP from 2005, self-release. So, like I said, Kevin Ho on drums is going to be leaving. He's going to be replaced by Giuseppe Capalupo on drums, formerly of the band Demise of Eros. And David Burkus on bass would be leaving. No, excuse me. David Burkus on bass would move to guitar to fill the vacant spot that was left by guitarist Ryan Carroll. So right now they don't have a bassist, but fear not, because friend Steve Lucarelli would be joining the band as the new bassist. So your new official lineup is Todd Lowry on vocals, Josh Brannis on guitar, David Burkus on bass, Giuseppe Capalupo on drums, Steve Lucarelli on bass. Now, not much to this next thing, but like I said, they did put out in 2006 a self-released compilation album called The City is Surrounded 2003 to 2006 compilation. So basically what this is, it was a limited release locally. It includes all 9 songs from the previous 2 EPs, and The Blood of the Wicked Shall Flow Like a River and A Reckoning. Probably not re-recorded, probably just as is. Probably just trying to put everything together and say, hey, instead of buying these 2, just buy this one album and listen to it.
Every time you say that album name, I get this very clear like picture in my head for what the album cover should be. And then I think of like a different band that would act like that would put out an album called that.
Yeah,
The
I'm trying to
first time I
remember.
was like, oh, Cradle of Filth or like Abigail Williams. And then this time around, it was like, oh God, I could totally see that being like an impending doom album.
Right, exactly. I was trying to remember because I'd seen the album artwork. I mean, it's nothing like major, but
Oh, we're gonna do impending doom.
oh boy, hey, it's coming. It's coming, man.
I've seen them like a million times too.
Oh yeah, that one's coming. Oh, I don't know. I have to look that up later. Anyway, where were we? Hey,
Talking about that
welcome
sick
back.
album name.
What do you think of The City is Surrounded? How about that name?
That's pretty good too. I like
Pretty
that
good.
too.
It's pretty
It
good.
makes me
It's pretty
think
good.
of makes me think of Norma Jean, like, or I
Yeah.
guess Ch- I
You
guess
think
the
of the
Chariot.
Chariot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Atlanta. Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I think of. It's funny you say that because I know I've said that listening to Oh Sleeper, of course, doing oh well, we did Oh Sleeper that one for one episode, and then we were also doing, of course, House of the Dragon stuff at the same time. And so I was kind of relating the two together. So now when I listen to Oh Sleeper, especially like When I'm God, I think of like medieval kind of battle or whatever. This to me, like when I listen to Once Nothing, I think of like almost like Civil War type battle.
Yeah. It feels very, it's right there behind you. It
Southern, yeah.
feels, yeah, it feels
Right.
very
Yeah, exactly.
cowboy.
Hey. And yes, yeah, that too, cowboys and such. So all right, let's move on to your favorite album, 2006's Voice of the Paragon EP, which was self-released. The first album for Giuseppe Capilupo on drums and Steve Lucarelli on bass. Songs on this album include This Song is Ridiculous, Waves / When the Light Turns Yellow, Don't Push the Brake Down, Put Some Stank on It, Want to See My Bone Collection in North Carolina because it feels like home, man. Why not Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania because it feels like home? Why North Carolina? I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
I have a different track list for Earth
Let's
Mover.
let's no. That was Voice of the Paragon.
Oh, Voice of the Paragon. Okay. Yeah, I was like,
He hates this album so much he skipped it. He's like, no, we're talking about Earth Mover.
yeah, I keep forgetting that you said there was a re-release of Voice of the Paragon.
Yeah. So it really came out in 2006.
Yeah, gotcha.
So you do not like this album, huh? What's your beef?
It's the weakest for me,
Okay.
Um, the one I'm looking at is the re-release, so it only has This Song is Ridiculous, Want to See My Bone Collection in North Carolina. Because you said there were two more on there, right? Put Some Stank on It.
Put Some Stank on it and Waves.
Because that one wound up on Earth Mover, right? Put Some Stank on It.
Yeah, both of those.
Oh,
Both of
and
those ended up
Waves.
moving
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't mind hearing the original version of Waves because I like that song.
Yeah, I like it better on the next one, to be
This
honest,
song
on
is
Earth Mover.
ridiculous. Did you notice that it feels like there's a couple of their main riffs from like two other songs that are just like jammed against each other? And this
Yeah,
one, like I agree, that song is ridiculous.
yeah. Isn't it it's two riffs off of First Came the Law, isn't it? I can't remember what song or
Yeah.
songs. But yeah, I notice it every time that I'm listening to it. I'm like, that's a different song.
So
Which,
they're just like,
again is
well, and it's like kind of, I mean, it's the opposite, They're not like referencing something they've already done. It's like they use those riffs to later,
right. Yep. No, you're right, man.
But
You're
yeah, it
right.
sounds weird listening to it in reverse. Like I don't know, it sounds messed up.
Yeah.
Want to see my bone collection,
Yeah.
North Carolina, And then the quality on this one is just god awful.
Yeah,
Like
it's
the
not good.
recording on the drums is terrible, and the vocals, I don't know if later on they're recording more things together, maybe, or it sounded like the vocals were completely isolated, and you could 100% tell
That he was in a room by
audio.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it's again going back to them working jobs and everything. It's just kind of like, hey, just come whenever you can. And we're just not all here at the same time. We can't all be here at the same time. We're just kind of doing it whenever, So yeah. But that is 2006's Voice of the Paragon EP. Do yourself a favor, skip it. If you want. I mean, give it a chance. Give it a chance, people, if you never
listen to
heard
the
it.
whole thing. Listen to the whole
'Cause,
discography. But
well, I'm about to say that's the other
we're
thing
about to
too.
get into
'Cause
the real good times here.
right. I feel like, especially for the vocalist, you can tell over the years, me personally listening to those first couple of EPs to all the way to Indiana Sessions, you can tell his voice gets like so mature and he's finding it, throughout this discography.
Yeah.
And I think once you hit like, I mean, it's really good on it's good on Earth Mover. It's really good on First Came to Law, but dude, I really love it on Indiana Sessions.
Yeah.
It's like sick to me. But anyway, that is 2006's Voice of the Paragon EP. So we talked about touring just a little bit ago. You've seen them in shows, in certain seasons and such. So basically, the band, because again, how small they weren't a big time name or anything like that. And with the jobs and everything happening in Pittsburgh, the band had toured mainly locally from 2000 to 2005. But in 2006, they saw their touring start to pick up more into new territories. Following that, in 2007, the band signed with CI Records, which was created by Jeremy Weiss using the initials of the punk rock band he played in called Corrupted Image. Guy's name sounds familiar, but I don't recognize that band name either, though. But anyway.
What was his name?
Jeremy Weiss. That name sounds really familiar.
How do you spell Weiss?
Weiss. But anyway, while you're looking that up, he used the initials of a punk rock band he played in called Corrupted Image, which gets you the CI record name. It was also used as a label to release his albums for his band Stand Up in the late 1990s. What do you come up with, Josh? Calculating your results.
Vocalist of an American hardcore band Stand Up in the early 90s and owner of the label CI Records. His Instagram. Not much about this guy. Co-founder of Launch Music Conference and Festival.
Jeremy, if you're listening, get on the podcast,
thinks,
man.
He thinks Limp Bizkit is a bad name for a band.
What?
Yeah, most of these things just say that same little blurb about him, man. Vocalist of American hardcore band Stand Up in the early 90s and owner of the label CI Records.
All right. He just sounds familiar, but I guess not. I don't know. But anyway, signing with CI Records 2007, that is going to bring us to the album that is directly behind Josh, Earth Mover EP from CI Records. Now, exactly, there you go, man. Man on Fire with a backhoe arm. Songs on this album include the early demo version of Gunfire is the Sound of Freedom, which would be re-recorded on their full-length album. You also have Waves, which was re-recorded from their previous EP. You have All My Heroes Are Cowboys, which would show up on the next album. You got Goodbye Hollywood.
Yes.
Goodbye Hollywood?
That is the best track on this album.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Okay. That and Waves are both really good. But
yeah. You also have Put Some Stank on It and the finisher acoustic track, Forgive Me, Father.
I know that's your favorite track on this one, isn't it?
Forgive Me, Father?
Yeah.
No,
really?
Why?
See, as I was listening to it, I was like, I feel like he would totally buy into this, especially like I don't know, just the music in it. Like I felt like that was like right up your alley.
It's good, but I will tell you this: between the two acoustic songs that they have, "Forgive Me, Father" and Sweet Medusa.
Yeah.
Is that what it
Or
is
My
called?
Medusa.
My Sweet Medusa. Uh, Easily My Sweet Medusa. And I think the reason why I say that is because I don't know. There's something about his singing on "Forgive Me, Father." It just kind of sounds kind of off a little bit. It's a good song. I don't know. It just seems really off to
I
me.
didn't
I don't
like
know.
it in the beginning, but like by the end of this
It
song,
grows on you.
like yeah, I did
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. No, I definitely my favorite
Dude, but
song on
Goodbye
this.
Hollywood.
Yeah, Goodbye Hollywood was a good one. Definitely my favorite is Waves.
Yeah, Waves is
Just
good.
that
If there's
just the
two
way he comes
things,
in, man.
if there's two things that Once Nothing cares about, it is streetlights and it is drowning in a flood. They
Oh
mentioned
man.
streetlights so many fucking times, like over all their
Yeah.
songs, like in a few albums.
You should have started a count on that. Give us a count on it.
Yeah. And then yeah, the drowning thing. Like they are always talking about drowning or waves or dying in a flood, getting dragged under the
Drowning
waves.
drowning and I'm drowning in the street lights. There's so many street lights.
Yeah, I'm drowning in
I'm
streetlights.
drowning. Oh man.
Dude, Goodbye Hollywood. The way the song starts out with that like distorted vocal,
Yeah.
and then there's a riff in there that uh yeah, I can't think of it exactly, but like I just remember like when I was going back through them earlier today, when I heard that one, I was just like, oh my God. I feel like it's rare that like I hear those riffs now that I'm just like,
Mm,
like
mm,
that is I'm
mm,
just
mm,
yeah,
mm.
just desensitized. And that
Right.
is I
Some
felt
good
that.
stuff,
I
man. That's
felt
some
that
good
shit.
stuff. I mean, well, I'll say it later. I'll hold on to my comment until we get there later. Anyway, that is Earth Mover EP.
What
They
does it for you in waves?
Man, like I said, I love the intro to it, man. Just coming in screaming, man. I wanna say waves. I wanna drown. No, it's just that, man. It's really good. It just hits you straight up, man. Um, exactly. I will say, um, probably my favorite song
Oh, that is
by
dirty.
probably my favorite song by Once Nothing is Gunfire is the Sound of Freedom, but I don't this isn't my favorite version, obviously, because it's pretty early. The
That's your
next
favorite
version,
Once Nothing
dude.
song?
I think that's my favorite Once Nothing song, dude.
It's not Sandcastle. It's not how to build a
Sandcastle,
sandcastle.
well, again, we'll get to that. We'll get to it. Could have been. It could be.
It could have been.
It could be, bro. It could be.
Oh man.
But anyway, we'll get to all that. But anyway, yeah, that's Earth Mover EP from 2007.
It's hard to not talk about Once Nothing and not only talk about how to build a sandcastle.
Right. Yeah, and I think one of the things that I forgot to mention earlier was I had read a comment about that song. It was so popular, dude, that it became one of those songs where every time they played the show, everybody wanted to hear it, right? Everybody wanted to hear it. And it got to the point where some people who said they went to shows and the crowd was asking for it, the band just came out and said, "We're not playing that song tonight. We're sick and tired of that song." It's just, and we talked about that before, I think, with what was it, Hospice.
Yeah.
It's like
I
we're
don't
not gonna play that song anymore.
I don't know
It's
that I
not that
ever
it's a bad song, it's just
remember
like, go
I
ahead.
don't know that I ever remember seeing them Once Nothing and them playing How to Build a Sandcastle. They may have, but I don't remember. I
Yeah.
don't
Oh, you
remember
would
it.
you would remember that,
I
dude.
you gotta think I
I would
would
think you
because it's
would.
my favorite my favorite Once Nothing song.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
My favorite
Okay.
15-second Once Nothing song.
Yeah, I was about to say. So obviously you haven't heard the full version. So again, it's a good song. I just don't like the version on the EP. My request, my request is they need to on their next album re-record it, or They should have just had the whole hidden track on at the end of And Then Came Grace on this next album be the full version of How to Build a Sandcastle. Don't get me wrong, it's a great 15 seconds, but it would have been sick, dude. Just the way that they would record it and the way it sounded for those 15 seconds, that whole song, dude, would have been sick on that album as a hidden track, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry, Sassy's going fucking crazy over here.
Spazzing out, man. All right, 2008 saw the band moving one more step up. The band would leave CI Records and went head on over to major label Solid State Records. Josh, it's a reoccurring theme for us. Everything on the History of the Chorus podcast seems to come back to Solid State Records. So far, at least. So far. We'll eventually probably get away from them. I'm sure of it. But anyway, 2008 is also going to bring us the first and only, so far, full-length album from the band Once Nothing. First Came the Law from Solid State Records. First off, let's talk about the artwork, Josh. How sick is that artwork?
So good.
So good. I think easily their best album artwork. And actually, did you have the actual CD?
Yes.
Do you remember? I guess I never seen it before, but I saw a picture the other day on Google of somebody had the CD case open with the CD in it and then like the lyric book inside. And the picture on that inside cover, it was just like, I don't know if it was the same guy or whatever that's on, behind me, but it's just like him in like kind of like that old school kind of like cowboy hat, just kind of looking down. It looked pretty sick too. Just like the filter on those pictures and everything is sick. It's so sick, dude. Just overall, this is one of my favorite album artworks, period.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some kind of cool stuff. I think the CD was brown with either like white writing or black writing. I can't remember.
I think it was black writing.
And then the inside had like some more pictures of the same guy. It was just like different poses and stuff, but
yeah. Sick, man, sick. All right, man. Get a new record label, you move a step up. You're also going to get a nice little producer name to go along with it. Josh, does the producer name Jamie King mean anything to you?
It sounds familiar, but
okay. So, you know the band Between the Buried and Me, Josh, right?
Yep.
Jamie King produced most, not all, but most of Between the Buried and Me's discography. Very close friend of the band members there. He's, I think they had one time described him kind of as their, whatever it'd be, 6th or 7th band member. I don't know even how many band members they have anymore. But he seems to be kind of another part of Between the Buried and Me. But anyway, Jamie King would be assigned to produce First Came the Law from Once Nothing. So you got Solid State Records backing you. You got a nice producer in Jamie King. What could go wrong, Josh? What could go wrong?
Nothing. Everything went right.
Everything went right, man. Let's talk about these songs. Songs include, but are not limited to.
No, this album deserves all.
What is I think the only song I didn't put on there. Oh, I don't want to say it. I think there was one I'm missing actually. But you're right. I mean, they deserve all. Let's see here. Okay, songs on this album include The Intimidator, Avoid Me Like the Plague, Juliet, or at least What's Left of Her, which is actually about vocalist Todd Lowry's experience being sick on tour in Alabama in the sweltering heat. And he even passed out at a BP station. I'm guessing that's a gas station. Anyway, Gunfire is the Sound of Freedom, Dust of the Town, My Sweet Medusa. Columbus wasn't looking for America. Then there were 9. All my heroes are cowboys. The Truth About Me, or was it So They Say?
Or something like
it. Someone Like Me. There we go. It wouldn't pull up fast enough. Then you got Whiskey Breath, and then the closer, and then Came Grace with the hidden track, 15 seconds of how to build a sandcastle. Give me your thoughts, Josh. I'm waiting for him, man. I've been waiting for this.
um, this is the best. This is the best album, like hands down. This is the best album. Like you said, it's just a recipe for success.
Right.
Everything,
the planets aligned, everything came together perfectly.
The Intimidator starts out really, really strong. And with a lot of albums where the first track and maybe the second might be both pretty strong before it starts to slow down. This one goes 1 through 4 hard as hell. And then 5, like Gunfire and Dust of a Town kind of switched to a little bit more of that Maylene sound,
Yes.
Like there's a lot more Southern influence in there. In Gunfire, there's even some points where he's doing vocals that make me think of Converge. It would have been later Converge, so definitely nothing that they would have pulled from them, Like I'm talking like Axe to Fall.
Right.
But yeah, and then we kind of start to slow down for Sweet Medusa. That's track 6. This album doesn't slow down a fucking beat until it's track 6.
Right.
Then it stops pretty hard for My Sweet Medusa. But it's a really good song.
Right.
It's got the harmonica.
Yeah.
Like there's
can't go wrong, man.
A lot of good elements.
The crickets in the nighttime going in the background
too, where it's just like the outside, quiet night.
Right.
Columbus comes back in pretty hard. Then there were 9, same. You get to that kind of spot with All My Heroes Are Cowboys through Whiskey Breath. It feels like the end of a He Is Legend album, where there's just a lot going on.
Right.
Like there's some good tracks there, but they always feel different. They always feel different than the first half of the album.
Yeah.
So, and that, He Is Legend always does that too. Like, especially like, is it Suck Out the Poison? Where
it gets kind of weird at the very end there.
Yeah, the last 3 tracks are all really strange, but Goldie's Torn Locks is like one of the strongest tracks on the album.
Yeah.
So, and then came Grace. It's a really good instrumental, and with the hidden track, How to Build a Sandcastle, I would lose my freaking mind if I saw them playing live and they played Sandcastle.
Yes. Yep. They actually played it at the Christmas show, whatever, a couple of years ago or last year. Yeah. That full set is on YouTube. I'll have to send you that one too, because it was a pretty good set. But that is First Came the Law.
Is your favorite on this one Gunfire and Is the Sound of Freedom?
Yeah, I think it's honestly, again though, man, it's like it's so good from beginning to end. Man, the Intimidator is good. Juliet is really good. Gunfire obviously is really good to me. Dude, some of the riffs though in Columbus are just sick. Sick to me, man. And you're talking about his vocals. I love the sound that they did on kind of his kind of clean vocals on this album. It's almost like he's like speaking into like a megaphone or something. It's a really cool effect to me.
I need your silhouette.
Yeah, I mean stuff like that, man. Or even like on Gunfire, where he's like, swinging, whatever.
Yep.
Just stuff like that. It's just like, how do you guys come up with these ideas like that? Yeah, it's just such a good album, dude. Do you have a favorite on this? If you had to pick one, what is your favorite?
Well, it just made me think of something else, but
Okay.
I think
No,
I'm kind of in the same boat, like that. I feel compelled to say the Sandcastle teaser is my favorite, but I don't want to give away.
It's that good.
I don't want
it's
to give
that
away,
good, people.
It is that good, but I don't want to give away 15 seconds,
Right.
like versus a whole song.
Right.
They're pretty consistent with like 4 to 5 minutes for a track across all their albums.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it's probably Avoid Me Like the Plague or Juliet.
Okay.
But Avoid Me Like the Plague comes in so hard with that riff.
Is that that's the one? Yeah.
Um,
What do you think? I forgot to, I didn't
I was gonna say
think
the
about
other
mentioning
thing.
this earlier, but well, real quick, what do you
Okay,
think about? I don't know if you would really want to call it like well, maybe it's time changes. I don't know. They seem to do a lot of like each song is like a roller coaster, man. It's like you're going along doing this kind of like one tempo and everything, and the next thing you know, you kind of change it up. You know what I'm saying? They seem to do that a lot. That's kind of a signature move for them.
in that way, they make me think a lot of like just in the way they do that, they make me think of Coheed and Cambria because
Right.
you could easily slice this thing up and it be multiple songs because
Right. Yeah.
they're so different. Like each part is so different, you know?
Right. But they
Um,
somehow put it all together and make it make sense. It's
yeah,
crazy.
and I love it.
Yeah. I'm here for
Um,
it.
I was gonna say, yeah, just like you're saying, how do they come up with some of this stuff? And I was just thinking about like some of the nonsense that was in Carcass of a Carnivore songs. Um, and in the song Abracadaver, there was one part where I was screaming and Brandon was doing like the line was like miles wide open, eyes
Eyes
roll
rolled back.
back.
Yep.
Yeah, and like it's
Oh
just
yeah, I
stuff like
remember
that, you know. Like how you come up with that? Well, you're just kind of like messing around at first, and then you're just like, well, that actually I kind of like that. I kind of like that, you know.
that. What you do is you get high first, and then you just let
Yeah,
it happen.
you have a few beers, and then you know.
And then just the art just comes pouring out. Oh man. Good times, man. Yeah, I still remember that line. That's honestly that's probably like the only line I remember from that band. So
It was the biggest one.
it was your signature, right?
Yeah.
It's my baby. I'm so proud of it. Okay. How about this? Because I thought about that this last week. You know how much I love splits. I've talked about this before. Splits, we should bring them back, man.
Oh,
We
we
need
are
we need more
split
splits.
EP stands on this
Split
show.
EPs, man. We are pro split EPs. I'm thinking, hear me out. Once nothing slash Maylene split.
That would be
What do you
pretty
think, man?
tasty.
That would be sick,
I'm
dude.
scared to hear
Sick.
the new album, the new
From
Maylene
Maylene.
album.
What'd you think about the new song?
Oh, I haven't listened to it.
You haven't even listened to Burn the Witches yet?
When was that released?
September.
Oh, no, I guess not.
Okay. We'll listen to it afterwards.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you people will not have that privilege. You'll have to go do that on your own.
This is
Anyway,
not for you.
this is not for you. This is a private conversation. What are you doing here? Obviously, the band found some great success from this album. Again, like we said, it was like the perfect storm, man, between the record label, the producer, and just the songwriting in general, man. So after the release of First Came the Law, the band toured extensively for a good year to promote the album. Unfortunately, though, the band would go on a hiatus slash breakup. Now, Josh Brannis, the guitarist, would leave the band and be replaced by Jordan Toome on guitar. But after touring cancellations mounted, Steve Lucarelli on bass and Giuseppe Capilupo on drums decided to leave the band. So it's kind of in disarray of trying to get organized and get all on the same page. And the whole job thing probably comes back into that too. But vocalist Todd Lowry announced soon after that the band would be disbanding with two farewell shows, one in Sterling, Virginia, and the other in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, their hometown. Now, for both of those shows, Josh Brannis, the guitarist, and David Burkus on guitar would play every song, with new guitarist Jordan Toome joining in on a few of those songs on guitar. The Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania show also included former guitarist Ryan Carroll and former drummer Kevin Ho on a few songs. So, unfortunately, just they hit their peak with First Came the Law. they got to go on hiatus and eventually break up. Now, fast forward 2 years later, 2010, saw a short little revival. 2 reunion shows were planned from the band at Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and their hometown again, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, saw some success from all that. Got back together 2 years later in 2012. The band announced a reformation and the promise of a future EP. So here again is the official lineup in 2012. We got Todd Lowry on vocals, Josh Brannis on guitar, David Burkus on guitar, Steve Lucarelli on bass, Giuseppe Capilupo on drums. So it looks like we got the lineup
So is
back
Todd
together.
Lowry the only original member?
I believe him and let's see here. Him, Brannis, and Burkus. No. Yeah. Him, Brannis on guitar, and then David Burkus, who started out on bass but moved to the guitar after their original bassist or after their original guitarist left. So they have three original guys.
At least you've got the most important elements there, because then you're always going to
Yes.
sound relatively the same.
Right,
You know,
exactly. You can
bring in
trade
new
out
guitarists
guitarist and
to try
drummer.
to-
Yeah.
yeah. It's bass and drums really that, like, yeah, those guys can kind of come and go, and
Right.
we'll be fine. But as
Right.
long as the vocals and the guitar really got to stay the same.
Right, exactly. All right, let's talk about their latest EP, 2013's The Indiana Sessions.
Their latest
which was-
EP.
Yeah, I know.
9
That sounds
years ago.
I know. Right as I said that, I was like, that sounds weird because it's 2013. The Indiana Sessions EP, which was self-released. Songs on this album include Darkest Days, Kentucky Straight, and For Memories. To me personally, it's a great EP. I said it earlier, I like the vocals on this album. I like everything on this album, don't get me wrong. Just in terms of what we were talking about earlier, his progression and maturity throughout the years, I think he really hits a good high on this album. I love me some Darkest Days, and I love me some For Memories. Kentucky Straight is good, but I love the first song and the last one. What about you, Josh?
Darkest Days is my favorite on here.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other 2 tracks are good too, but
Yeah.
Darkest Days stands out the most.
I will say though, okay, let me ask you this. Do you think they took a step back? Do you think they took a step forward, or do you think they stayed about the same from First Came the Law in terms of this sound?
I don't know that I don't want to say that it's like better than First Came the Law, like it sounds
Right.
better, but it's still right there,
Yeah,
It's still in the same arena.
right. I personally feel like it's promising. Now again, it's 2013. We're in 2022. 9 years later. So who knows what they're going to sound like now if they came out with something. But I felt like at that time when it was released, it was a promising, thing to be coming off of, disbandment and, hiatus and such, to come back like that and not really. I mean, I don't feel like they lost a step at all. I feel like it's right there with First Came the Law. Obviously, it's just an EP, so it's just 3 songs. So I mean, you can't have the full serving of a full album like First Came the Law, but I feel like they didn't take a step backwards. Now, at the same time, I'm with you. I don't think it's better than First Came the Law, but I really like it. I think it's a good EP, and I think it's a good stepping stone for the next thing. Unfortunately, like I said, 9 years later, we still don't have anything else from them. So, which brings me to my next point. As quickly as the band reappeared, recorded this EP, and released it, the band disappeared again.
They vanished.
I'm wondering if you know this next fact, Josh, because you like The Devil Wears Prada, correct?
Yeah, it took a span of time for me.
I'm about to say you like their newer stuff from
I like
Zombie
them-
EP and beyond.
I like them from Roots Above, Branches
Oh,
Below
okay. Okay.
through. Yeah, I had just written them off already by the time that Roots originally came out. I
Right.
just like didn't really care much for the stuff before that. And I didn't listen to that one. Zombie came out. I listened to Zombie and then went back to
Right.
Roots. Yeah, I tried to go back to a couple of those other albums and like give them a shot because I hadn't listened to them. So,
Right.
but yeah, from there through like was the Space EP before Dead Throne was before the Space EP, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, really through like the Space EP. The one after that was okay, but
Was 818 after space or is that before space?
I don't know.
I can't
It's
remember. It
yeah, either
starts
the
getting
one
kind of
before or
muddy.
right after.
Yeah.
But 818's okay. But
So do you know who their drummer is right now, Josh?
Devil Wears Prada?
Hmm.
No.
It is
Daniel
one
Davidson.
No, that'd be sick though. It is one Giuseppe Capilupo from Once Nothing.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes, so he joined the band in 2013, and he is still with the band to this day.
Wow.
Now, the band did play a reunion show, Christmas show, with past and present members, kind of like before. But due to Capilupo's commitment to the Devil Wears Prada, the band is currently on hiatus again.
When did they play the Christmas show?
That was last year, 2001.
Really?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, dude, I think they're done. It's been 9 years.
Yeah.
It was 5 years after First Came the Law, and we only got 3 songs.
Yeah. That's one thing I don't like about this band. I mean, I love this band, but I don't like the fact that it's like you only have one full length album. You've been around since 2000. You only have one full length album. And I get, you got a life, obviously, you got jobs and everything, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just surprised that like they just didn't like quit their jobs after First Came the Law and just like full time stick to this, but who knows? There may have been conflicts with, some guys not wanting to, quit their jobs or wanting to do something else and not, do music full time. I don't know. But yeah, that's the one thing I just wish there was more from this band, but unfortunately it is what it is. And here we are in 2022 waiting for another EP because I'm sure that's probably the next thing we'll get.
Yeah. I mean,
If
even
we
when
get
First
anything.
Came the Law, just on Spotify alone, on that album, over all the songs, they have probably around 700,000 plays.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good amount. Yeah.
I mean, I've probably done like 100,000 of those, but
Doing your part. Do your part, Josh.
Mm.
All right. Well, that leaves us with a current lineup of Todd Lowry on vocals, Josh Brannis on guitar, David Burkus on guitar, Steve
Maybe.
Lucarelli on bass, and Giuseppe Capilupo on drums. Maybe. Well, who
No.
knows? Nobody really knows.
He's a Devil Wears Prada.
He's still in this band, but he's committed. He's fully committed to the Devil Wears Prada. Again, though, I think that kind of goes back to he wants to play music full time. Him personally, he wants to play music full time. He has this opportunity to be in a big band, so he's going to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, I mean, I could be in Once Nothing, but maybe you're just not showing enough commitment. So I'm going to go do this thing and you're going to be on the back burner or whatever. What was that?
It's sassy. She just like stood up on the side of the chair and like tapped my arm with her paw.
I'll say, I thought I heard something. Yeah, I heard something, man. That was weird.
Crazy.
She's active tonight, man. That's weird.
Too fat to get up here, sassy.
Fatty. All right, that's it. So usually we do our whole, favorite song, favorite album, blah blah blah. I think I'm gonna skip favorite album because I'm pretty sure I already know which one is our favorite albums. And if you want, we can do kind of a Step Brothers thing, and we can say our favorite album on the same time on three, if you'd like.
Okay.
Say yes or no. Okay, it's like say yes or no. Okay.
Well, I was having a hard think.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see if I was right then. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3. First Came
First
the
Came
Law.
the Law.
Okay. What's your favorite dinosaur? On three. One, two, three. Velociraptor.
Triceratops.
No, you idiot. It's supposed to be stepbrothers.
Oh yeah, I thought we were just doing dinosaurs.
Oh man. Alrighty. Okay. So, and I think I don't know. Maybe it's different. So I'll go and ask it. Is there a different album besides First Came the Law? You can say First Came the Law. I'm just wondering if there's another one that you would recommend to a new listener that's never heard of Once Nothing before.
You probably got to go with First Came the Law,
And that's what I
but
was thinking.
secondary would probably be Earth Mover.
Okay. Okay. Secondary, I would go. Me personally, I would go Indiana Sessions.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, nothing
There's
against
just not
Earth
enough
Mover.
meat there.
Yeah, I know, and that's the bad part. Yeah. How about all three of those? Oh
At that
man.
point, you
How
might
about
as well just listen to the discography.
yeah, I was gonna say I'd just go listen to the whole thing. All right. Do you have their all their songs? I already know one of them, but do you have do you have some favorite songs you would like to share with us, Josh?
Um, yeah, off Earth Mover. I think we covered most of these, but Waves and Goodbye Hollywood. Um, and then I would also say off of First Came the Law. Yeah, Avoid Me Like the Plague or Juliet, or at least what's left of her. Uh, Truth About Me, Whiskey Breath, How to Build a Sandcastle. I feel like we've been like very vague about the whole How to Build a Sandcastle thing. It's literally a clip at the end of And Then Came Grace where it fades in on, I guess it's
Like
recorded at like a concert.
maybe, I don't know. They
But
make it sound like it's a concert at least.
yeah. And it's supposed to be like the end of a show or whatever, and everybody's yelling for them to play
Come on, play it.
How to Build a Sandcastle. And so then they start playing it, and they only get maybe 10 or 15 seconds into the song. And at the part where everybody starts clapping, like a little clap part in the song, then it just ends. It just goes completely quiet.
It's the nighttime noise, kind of like on My Sweet Medusa for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. I really wish they would re-record the whole thing, dude, because that early version just sounds
I gotta hear it.
Yeah, we'll listen to it after this.
Okay.
It's not good. Some of my favorite songs. Glad you asked, Josh.
Oh, you
are,
okay. I thought we were just doing me, but all right.
No, you're fine. Obviously, Gunfire, Sound of Freedom. Columbus wasn't looking for America. I gotta go with Waves, man. I love the intro to First Came the Law, The Intimidator. Dust of the Town, Darkest Days, Four Memories, and I do love me some And Then Came Grace. If there was a song that I had to pick off of the two earliest EPs that I did like, I think it was probably The Last Charge of Wyatt Earp and His Immortals, mainly because they play clips from Tombstone on there.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of hard to hear them, but you can tell what they are. So yeah, that's about it, man. You got anything else to say about the band Once Nothing?
No, go listen to Once Nothing.
Let's see.
You'll
For
be
the love
glad
of
you
God.
did.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a hidden gem.
Get these guys some plays so that maybe
they'll come
back out of the shadows and
show
make
them some
more
love.
music.
Show them some love for our
split EP
sake.
with Maylene.
Man, that'd be so good.
I would also accept a split EP with He Is Legend.
How about a trifecta split? What would you call that? Well, you know what you would call that. A three-way.
We'll call it a split. Why are you yelling at me?
Thank cat. Where's Tater at?
I don't know.
That's weird. Are you sure they didn't switch like souls or one soul went into another body or something?
It's her shift. It's her shift.
It's
to
her shift to
annoy
mess
me.
with you.
He's probably
Alrighty,
sleeping.
man. Probably so. All right. Well, last call. Make sure to go listen to Once Nothing. Give them a chance, people. Give them some love so we can get more music out of them. That is going to do it for this episode of the History of the Chorus podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurvivedByPro for news and the latest episode postings, not just on this show, but on our other two shows. The Red Right Hand podcast, all about the Peaky Blinders, all 6 seasons, and the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which we just finished up with our season 1 recap of the House of the Dragon from HBO. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua Lynn Gary and his cats, Tater.
At getting slapped by cats.
Change that Twitter handler, man. Oh boy. While you're at it, man, make sure to leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on whatever podcasting service you are using. And if you want to listen to us and you want to see Josh blow some smoke, head on over to YouTube. Just search Is Survived by Productions, and they'll have every episode from all our shows. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and thumbs up to the videos. Hey, and if that's all too complicated for you, we've told you several times, just go to Google or whatever search engine you're using, type in Is Survived by Productions, and you're going to find us. Okay? And brand new, just this past 2 weeks, we got TikTok now, man. At Is Survived by Productions on TikTok. Go check us out. We're blowing up. Kind of. We're getting some views, man. We're getting some views. But yeah, you will see clips from all 3 of our shows and hopefully more in the future.
Get a little taste. Get a little sampler.
A little sampler, man. A little sampler of our craziness, our zaniness. Finally, if you got a band from the core genre you want us to discuss, leave us a comment on any of these services with the band name you want to hear. And maybe, just maybe, we'll talk about them.
Maybe.
That's going to do it. That is going to do it for this episode. Josh, would you like to know who we're going to talk about next?
Ooh, who are we talking about next?
We're going to be talking about a little band.
Impending Doom.
Close. Very close. We're going to be talking about the band Fall of Troy.
Oh, that's not close. I was going to say plea for purging. With blood comes cleansing.
It was your request to do Fall of Troy, you idiot.
I know, I forgot we talked about that. No, I'm excited to do Fall of Troy. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, I'm thinking it's going to be a 2-parter. It's definitely going to be at least a 2-parter. But I'm hoping that it's just going to be 2 parts. I don't think it'll be an every time I die situation. But we'll find out.
The only reason it might be is just because there's like so much drama and shit with the band.
Very true.
Like, because
We'll get
there's
into
just
that.
A lot of story there. There's not even that many albums.
Oh my gosh. And there's only 3 members in the band. How much drama could 3 members cause? You'd be surprised.
A lot.
Come back next week and find
Those
out.
guys hate each other.
Yet they're still together. How does that work? I don't know. All right, that's going to do it. We will see you in the next episode for Fall of Troy. See you later.
See ya.